My name is Edas Redkar, and I'm the host of Edas Redkar's Entertainer Chat. And today I have the great pleasure of talking with Anna Elizabeth Gant. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so
That's
happy to be
good.
here.
Yeah, yeah. I was just saying before we started the show that Anna looks really Christmassy today with her sweater. So we're just kind of easing out of the Christmas season and into the new year. So
Yes, I'll carry Christmas with me as long as I possibly can.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So like the questions that I like to ask my guests, I'll start with the first one that I usually ask my guests. Uh, you're into so many things. You're into acting and directing, writing, filmmaking, dancing. You're a musician. You play the banjo and all that, and
Yes.
you're an author. And how did you originally get into all of that? If you want to start like with acting and just talk from
Yes.
there.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
in many ways, it kind of all came from the same thing, really. I have just always, for I guess since I got here, really, loved good stories,
Uh-huh.
telling them, hearing them, making them up. My mama really instilled that in me when I was a very little girl. She read to me so much, and she introduced me to some of the best movies and musicals, that have ever ever been made.
Right,
But
right.
what she did that was so important to me then and has been so massively important to who I turned into as I grew up was after we watched a book, read a book, or watched a movie, she would always look at me and say, "Now, what do you think happened next?"
Oh,
Talk
huh.
about it, and just make up. I would make up stuff, she would make up stuff, and we would create these new stories. And I was always so I
Right,
loved
right.
that so much. It was such a huge part of who I was and what we did then.
Yeah.
And so really that's where the storytelling
Okay,
part of me
okay,
started. But
okay.
acting though. So when I was about 4, um I was watching it was a cold, winter, rainy, just sloppy day. So I couldn't be outside playing. I was in the house eating cinnamon toast, sitting in the floor with all my toys. And Mama had put in a VHS tape of Mary Martin's Peter Pan.
Oh,
And
okay, okay.
I had seen it a million times. I had watched it a lot. But all of a sudden, I just realized that it wasn't a movie. It was a recording of a stage show. And where movies like The King and I and Oklahoma and all of those that I loved so
Right,
much
right,
were done once, and recorded. That was it. That was the movie. Stage shows were done over and over and over again at different theaters all over the world. Could
right,
do the same
right.
show at different times. And I was thrilled by that. It just ignited this little fire in me, like, oh, I could do that. And for years, for years after that, it was just a part of my daily prayer that one day God would put me somewhere where I would be close to a place that was doing that specific Peter Pan show, and maybe I could be in it. So all those years passed. I was on in my 20s. We moved up here to Tennessee, 2018. I get an email notification from the Oak Ridge Playhouse. I had never been to Oak Ridge, didn't know even how to get there, but
Nope.
I got an email from them, and they were holding auditions for that Peter Pan musical.
Okay.
And I was just like, have to go. I have to go. I've never done this, never
Right,
done
right.
anything like this before, but I have to go. God has finally put me in a place.
Hmm.
They're doing this show, and I have to go. So, so I got picked out my music, did everything that I could to get ready, even though I flat had no idea what I was doing, and mapped my way to Oak Ridge. And I got there, and I couldn't even figure out how to get into the theater. I
Oh,
went into the wrong door. I went to the front door, and then I had to walk down the alley steps and go around the building. I finally made it
okay.
in and did the audition. And
And you still had enough
never,
energy, and you still had enough energy left over to do the audition, right?
yes, at that point it was just adrenaline.
Right.
And I got in there, and I never expected to be cast. I mean, I really didn't, because I had never done anything like that. But Mr. Reggie did cast me as Mrs. Darling. And for the very first time ever, I got to put on that gorgeous dress that they gave me and
Oh,
walk out onto a stage. And it was glorious.
right, right.
And I haven't looked back. I haven't looked back. I've done it.
Yeah, that must have
Yep. So
been,
that's
yeah, that must have been such a like a surreal experience for you. Like first seeing it on television years ago, and it's like, wow, I'm actually here doing this in front of people on a stage.
it was.
That must have been, undescribable. Like I said, surreal. Like,
Yes, it's really a dream come true, like a
yeah,
Cinderella type dream come true, you
right.
know? It really was.
It's like pinch me. Am I dreaming or something like
Yes.
that? You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I have to go back and look at the pictures and look at the poster and be like, yeah, I actually did do that. I mean, it was real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a lot of times in our life. Like sometimes we'll do something, and we're waiting so long to be
Yes.
able to do something that we love, and then we do it, and then it's over, and it's like
Yes.
it's over in a flash, and then
Yes.
the next day you're saying, "Did that really happen?"
Yes.
Of course, it really happened. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No, that's quite a journey there.
It was.
Between from television to to actually doing it. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
No, that's fascinating. Yeah,
It
yeah,
was a miracle to me. It really was.
yeah, 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 yeah. Kind of related to that, I have another question about your love of artistry and things like that. I read in one of your social media posts that you have a love of British shows when you were growing up, at the same time that you were interested in acting and everything, that
Hmm.
a love of British shows when you were growing up. And how how did that love of British shows come about? What ignited
Yes.
the flame,
Well, in all honesty, that was my mama too, just like with the reading. She introduced me to classic British children's literature that she
Oh,
also
okay.
loved, like Beatrix Potter, Wind in the Willow. Well, I'm looking at my bookcase. Beatrix Potter stuff, Wind in the Willows, all of the Mary Poppins books, Peter
Oh,
Pan. Oh,
wow.
Doctor Dolittle,
Oh, wow.
Doctor Dolittle. And there's Sherlock Holmes. We'll talk about Holmes in a little bit. So Sherlock Holmes too.
Right.
And all the British shows that were aired on PBS, like Keeping Up Appearances,
Okay.
and As Time Goes By, Last of the Summer One, Open All Hours, and Still Open All Hours, which I could watch that all day long. I love them.
Right. You could
Fawlty
binge
Towers,
watch. Yeah.
I could. And Masterpiece Mystery, so the Jeremy Brett Holmes ones, Miss Marple, Poirot, all of that.
Okay. Wow.
She really wanted me to have a childhood and a teenagehood that were filled with stuff like that I could learn from, and stuff that would stimulate my mind and imagination, and
Right, right,
make
right.
really make me get excited about stuff that I could do and what good stuff the world could hold for me,
Yeah, yeah.
And as she showed me those things, I just started to develop a passion for them myself that then grew into who I am now.
Right,
That
right.
style of storytelling, that style of comedy, and just everything that those pieces are. It was a huge gift, a huge
Yeah.
gift
Yeah.
gave me
Yeah.
by doing
So
that, and I'll never be able to thank her enough for it. And
no.
she tells me all the time how excited she is to watch me get to use it all now. Like, yeah, I gave you just go run with
That's
it.
right. That's right. She
Yeah,
can, yeah, she can,
makes
like that old saying goes, I remember you when, before all of this started, right?
yeah,
Before everything just blossomed, right? Yeah. No,
yes,
it sounds like she had a pretty big influence on everything,
yeah, she
all the
did.
different facets
Yes,
of your
she
interest. Yeah, yeah,
she really did. She really did.
yeah.
She saw what I liked as I started to. She always told me that when I was a little baby, she was looking forward to me actually being able to talk. So that she could hear and know what I thought about and what I liked and what
Okay,
interested me, so that she could then go from there and show me those things and help me find what I could then turn my life into. And she I can again, I said I could never thank her enough for what she did to develop those things in me that she
right,
knew,
right,
that
right.
she saw, that she knew that I was going to
Hmm.
be able
She
to
could, yeah, she could tell that the kind of person that you were going to develop, and she probably seen all the ingredients in you.
do.
So just like somebody that's cooking or baking, they just got to put the ingredients together, mix them in the bowl, and knead the
Yes,
dough, put it in the oven, and then watch it
watch it
blossom.
go.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that's exactly what she did. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let me go back to my cheat sheet. I got to confess to the audience. I got a cheat sheet here that I'm asking you the question. So,
And
full
that's
dis
the way to do it, though.
that's right. Full disclosure, cheat sheet and all. I don't have a teleprompter. Like the big TV shows here. So I have my Word document teleprompter here. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which also has to do with all of your interests,
Hmm.
singing, music, and things like that.
Yes.
You love to tap dance and you love to play the banjo. And I noticed that you posted about tap dancing on one of your posts on Facebook. And I also noticed that, like on YouTube, you have videos showing you playing the banjo. And I even happened to see one of your posts that was before Christmas, nearing Christmas time. And you said that you gifted yourself new tap dancing shoes for Christmas. So what I'd like to know, and I think everybody out there would like to know, is how long have you been tap dancing and playing the banjo? And I was going to ask you how those interests began, but I think I know the answer, but I'll let you elaborate on all of that.
Well, these two might be just a touch different, actually.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
you're calling me out. Now I got the wrong answer. Okay. I shouldn't have said anything. Okay. Well, go ahead.
Let me see. Let me backtrack. Let me count. I've been tap dancing for, well, seriously tap dancing for about 14 years. And I've been playing the banjo for about 8 years.
Okay.
I took tap and ballet lessons when I was really a really little girl, like 4-ish.
Okay.
And I just adored tap. I adored it so much. But the precious lady who taught me retired when I was 4, maybe going on 5-ish, something
Okay.
like that. She was wonderful. I loved Miss Linda, and I was so sad when she retired.
Um,
And I lived in a small farming town in Mississippi, and there wasn't anywhere else for me to go to learn once she retired. There was one other dance studio in a nearby town, but they didn't teach the style of tap that I wanted to learn. They mostly did hip hop and gymnastics kind of
Okay.
training.
Okay.
That was all
Okay.
I wanted to do. So after a while, I just, you just accepted it that I wouldn't be able to learn to tap anymore. There wasn't any way that I could get around that. But this was the early to mid 90s. And so there wasn't any internet for me, no YouTube, no satellite TV accessible to me, no DVDs, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But slowly, all of those things started to come about and trickle down into my world. And when I was about,
I like
six,
that description, my world. I like that description.
I'm glad, yeah, that's how I see it. And I guess I think I was about 16
Okay.
when I started watching some YouTube videos of dances that I had loved so much as a child, watching on VHS tapes, like Vera Ellen in White Christmas, stuff like
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, and I remember just thinking and just praying out loud when I was watching her, oh Lord, I wish I could dance again. I wish that I had somebody who could teach me. Well, I didn't think just like the Peter Pan thing, I didn't think that that would be possible, but I really wanted it to be.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
so Christmas came a couple of weeks later after I had said that. And under the tree that year, my parents gave me a DVD copy of Holiday Inn with
Oh, okay. Okay.
Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby. And I was so excited because I loved classic musicals. I've been wanting to see that one, been wanting to see Holiday Inn for a really long time. And popped it in the DVD player. And that was the very first time that I saw Fred Astaire dance.
Oh,
And
what a treat that must have been for you to
oh,
see him dance.
oh, it was. It was. Within the first few seconds of that movie, his character is going to the theater. They're gonna perform that night. And he's getting out of taxi and fixing to go in, but it's Christmas, there's snow on the ground, there's a guy standing outside the theater playing music on the street. So he stands there for a second and listens to him, and then he just flies into this really short, really fast little step before he goes into the theater. It's not a routine, it's just literally a few tap steps that he just threw together to pull the audience into the movie,
Right, right, right.
set the stage, get everything going, because that's what he did. But when I watched him do that, I sat bolt upright and just stared at his feet. I had never seen anybody move and dance the way that he did.
Right,
And
right,
I was just
right.
entranced by it. I actually backed it up 3 or 4 times and just watched him do that one thing before I even watched the rest of the movie.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I said to myself then, okay, I have to learn to do this, but specifically this. I have to learn to do it the way that he's doing this in this style.
I was just
Um,
going to ask you that. I was going to say that you were so entranced by it that you were going to learn his steps perfectly, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. It was an abs. I know that he could never have imagined this when he just made up that little bit to
Yeah.
start that movie with.
Yeah.
But it was an absolutely life altering moment for me.
Okay.
Um, from then on, I was completely, wholeheartedly committed to learning how to dance the way that he did, which
Right.
really is a style that was completely unique to him. It's not just his feet, it's his knees and his arms and his hands and his shoulders, and everything goes into making those dances look how they do. It's
Right.
not
Right.
just the technicality of doing the steps right, it's the feel.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
watched him and I watched him and I watched him and I watched him and had a DVD player then, obviously, and finally we, it wasn't VHS anymore in the 90s. We had DVDs, and I could back it up and I could pause it and I could slow it down and do it frame by frame by
Right.
frame. Do it fast so I could hear the sound, and then back it up and watch how he moved his foot to make the sound.
Right. Right. Right.
I didn't have a physical teacher in the room with me showing me what to do, but I had Fred And I learned I learned to
Okay,
mimic everything, every movie he
okay,
ever made. I
okay.
watched and tried and watched and tried and watched and tried and learned from that.
Right, right.
And still learning. Always
Oh,
will be.
naturally, yeah. Well, it's a
Always will
constant
be.
process.
I'll never be able to the level of mastery that
Oh,
he had is
yeah.
mind-boggling to me. And
And you,
I know that I'll never reach that, but I know that for as long as I can stand up and put tap shoes on, I will be able to continue learning
right,
stuff from him.
right.
And
Well,
I
it's some,
love that I
yeah,
can dip
it's,
my toes
yeah,
into that wealth.
it's something that you can aim for, you know. It's like a constant
Yes,
goal in front of
yes,
you, you know, that keeps you constantly
yes.
interested in,
And
yeah. And well, talking about,
constantly interested, constantly trying to improve.
yeah, yeah. And not only that, like his solo dances, but you probably were enthralled with seeing him dance with Ginger Rogers, right? I bet.
Yes, yes, and Vera Ellen. I love to watch him dance with Vera Ellen. It's where Ginger and he were just kind of almost moved like just one
They,
person when they would
they
dance.
did.
Vera Ellen matched him in a way that was so incredible to me. Like in they worked together in The Belle of New York and in Three Little Words. Those are two of my favorites of his. But what she did was so fascinating to me because she would do exactly what he did, but she would look so feminine while she was doing it, and he would look so masculine while he was doing it, and they also looked the same. And I was like, well, how do you accomplish this? This is awesome.
Because they're good.
Another thing that I don't know if I'll ever be able to do, but it's awesome.
And you probably said to yourself, I'm going to do that someday. It might take a while, but I'm going to do that someday.
Yes, one of the funny things about that though, I would always try to learn his side of stuff when it was a double dance, just because I wanted to match the movements, the way he did it, the style.
Right, right,
But what
right.
was hilarious was when I was cast in Meet Me in St. Louis at the Playhouse, Oakridge Playhouse.
Uh-huh.
We were gonna waltz, and I had a little bit of trouble waltzing because I was the girl and I was oh,
And
the
everything
guy
was
was leading.
opposite, right? The right hand is one place, the left hand is another, but now it's all turned every which way around. Yeah.
Well, it took me so I finally got it, but it was pitiful. Yeah, so that's where tap dancing happened. That's how I got there.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. And
Oh, and you asked me about the banjo,
yeah, how
right?
about yeah, I want to know about the banjo. How did that get off the ground?
Yes. Okay, so that started after I moved up here from Mississippi to East Tennessee. Um, I'd always at the church that my dad was serving then as pastor. He's a different church now, but where he was then, there was a man named Mr. Bill Vance, who played the violin, the fiddle, and
Okay.
I had always wanted to learn to play the fiddle. So, got a beginner fiddle and started practicing some at the church with Mr. Bill. Then another man at the church, Mr. Herb Kate, he told me one night, "Hey, I play with a bluegrass band, and we
Uh-huh.
meet every Monday night, and I want you to come with me sometime on a Monday." And I said, "Oh, Mr. Herb, no, I cannot do that. I can't even play a note yet. I can't even hold the thing right." And he told me something that was so important. It was something that I'd never thought about before. But he told me, um, you don't need to start now just completely by yourself like that. He said, you can learn that way, yeah. But if you learn to play an instrument that way, you won't ever be able to play with other people live because you won't be able to
Ah,
follow them and figure out where they are.
ah,
You
huh.
have to start playing with people now so that you'll learn to listen to what they're doing, know how to match yourself to them. So I was like, okay, sure, then I'll go. Um, And I was nervous as all get out that first night, but Lord, once I got there, I absolutely fell in love with all of those wonderful people and their families. They are so amazing. Mr. JB, Mr. Ron, Mr. Sam, Mr. Owen, Miss Nettie, Preacher John, Preacher Ralph, Mr. Kenny.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they are literally some of the best people in the entire world. They were all in at that time in their 60s and 70s, and I think I was 22, maybe going on 23. So they had been calling themselves the Over the Hill Gang,
Okay.
but we started, but we started calling it. Once I got there, we started calling ourselves the Over the Hill Gang and Anna.
Oh.
Because I love
So,
America. Um,
so then Anna was going to help them to get over the hill, right?
yeah, it's push my yeah. And so they all played different stuff, guitars,
Okay.
everything. They all played different instruments. Massively talented people. Mr. Herb also played he plays stand up bass, but he played washtub bass at that time, and it was
Okay.
so cool. The washtub and the rope, and it was awesome to watch him do it.
Uh-huh.
But of them, Mr. JB played the banjo, and the more I watched him play, the more I wanted to try it.
Right, right.
So one Christmas, my papa had given me some spending money for me to buy my Christmas present from him, and I went straight to the music store and bought my banjo.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and holding the banjo in my hands for that first time felt so completely natural to me. I
Okay.
mean, well, like my tap shoes, it
Right.
it felt like it became like an extension of me, almost
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
another arm. And every Monday we would meet, we would play. I would sit next to Mr. JB and watch him, basically
Okay.
like I watched Fred, watch Mr.
Right.
JB's hands until
I like the fact that you're on a first name basis with Fred Astaire. I've never heard anybody call him Fred. You guys are best friends. I've never heard anybody call Fred Astaire Fred.
I've always said to myself that whenever we both get to glory, one day I'll have a lot to talk with him about about everything he taught me.
That's
And
right.
yeah,
Plus,
um,
probably give him a few suggestions on top of that, right? You could probably
yes,
say,
yes.
well, when you were tap dancing like this, why didn't you improve it and do it like
Yeah,
I'm
we
doing?
could do it this way. Why don't we try it together now, man?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, just like that though. Seriously, I'd watch it. I would watch Mr. JB's hands, and I would until I learned how to do all the picking movements and learn
Okay.
the chord, and I just learned it that way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we would meet on Mondays, and we also started meeting on Thursdays at the church with Mr. Bill, and that's
Okay.
where I met Miss Dorinda, Miss Stella, Mr. Jerry, all of them,
Mhm.
such incredibly, genuinely good people.
Right.
And Mr. JB and I actually got to where we could play one banjo together.
Oh, wow.
I would pick the strings. We'd get next to each other in a chair. I would pick the strings, and he would do the chords,
Oh, wow.
and we would play one side. It was awesome. It
Okay.
was so cool.
Well,
And
then you really had to be in sync then if you were both playing on the same
yeah.
instrument. So you almost had to be on the same page all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
We did, and we did it, and it was so cool. I have a video of that somewhere. I'll send it to you later. And yeah, so it was awesome, and I loved it, and I loved them so much. We
Okay.
actually, it's really sad. We haven't gotten to play together since the pandemic started, since 2020, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Bill and Mr. Ron and Mr. Kenny have gone on to be with the Lord now. But we had a very, very beautiful thing going. And I will always carry that with me. I mean, I'm always learning new banjo skills. I'll always have the music that they have taught me, are still teaching me, the ones who are gone, what they taught me.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
so that will always be part of me.
Yeah.
And I just found a guitar that's comfortable for me to play, so
Oh,
I'm working on
all
that too.
right.
Yeah,
Maybe
most guitars are too big.
Oh, maybe we'll see a video on YouTube of you playing the guitar then, right?
Maybe you will. Maybe you will.
Oh, don't be so coy. We know you're going to do it. We know you're going to do
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it.
it. No, on those YouTube videos, I've watched several of those YouTube videos, and you pick a mean banjo. I'll tell you that much.
Thank,
It's like,
thank you.
yeah, no, really, yeah.
Actually, well, what's interesting about that is that I did not know until after I actually bought my banjo and started playing that my okay, wait. Great great grandfather also played the banjo.
Oh, wow.
He would play for dances and stuff in the community where they lived back home in Mississippi, and I had no idea until I bought my banjo. I was playing it for my papa and talking to him, and he said, "Well,
Huh.
I thought Jim played played the banjo too," and I
Ye-
went, "He did." So I feel like some of that naturalness then
Sure.
came down,
It's
down from him to me.
Yeah, well, like they say,
Mhm.
it's in the genes, like
Yeah,
sometimes they say some things maybe skip a generation or skip a couple generations. So it skipped enough generations and it landed in your generation.
landed
So
on me. I'm
that's
really glad
right.
it did.
Here I am. Yeah. You
Yeah.
you probably could have, well, you probably watch reruns of the old Hee Haw TV
Oh
program, the Buck.
yes.
You probably could have played on there. You could have probably played when they were picking and grinning and all that stuff. You probably could have just Roy Clark and Buck Owens
Oh
there. You could probably just jumped right in there. Yeah.
yes. I would have loved to. There were times that I wish I had a time machine, man.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Well, have you ever been talking about banjo and music? Have you ever been to the Grand Ole Opry?
Not yet. Oh, I know, and that's a very, very pitiful thing to say, living this close to Nashville, but I haven't yet, but I'm going.
Okay. Okay.
I
Well,
am.
you
I'm
know what
going.
you're doing. You're waiting so that you can make your debut there. You don't want to get there
Oh,
too far in advance. You want it to be a total surprise to everybody that one day people are going to walk in and there's Anna Elizabeth Gant on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, standing on that celebrated footboard there in the stage
yes, the
there,
circle.
and
Yes.
you're gonna say, surprise! You didn't expect this, did you? Right?
Thank you. Well, you expected it. I'll tell you ahead of time.
Well, I hate to tell you, but we have an audience here, so it's like the cat is out of the bag now. So it's not, I can keep it lock and key like this. I mean, it's out there, So,
Oh well.
but
Oh well.
but
Too
news will
bad.
news will spread though. News will spread, and it'll eventually. If you want it to happen, it's eventually going to happen. Let's put it that way.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's everything about your music and your banjo playing and everything like that. I mean, it's awesome. It's interesting and everything. And like I was saying before, also, you're into acting and things like that, producing, directing. And um, one question I had about your like collaboration on projects as like producer director. Um, uh, you're working together with Ben Tinsley, whom we've also worked together with. Um, you're working with him on Night Owl, and which I have a role, and there's a lot of other cast members that we both have worked with that they, also have roles in this project. So um, since it's not produced yet, and without giving too much information away to keep the audience's suspense, could you tell us a little bit about that, how that collaboration came to be, and
Yes, yes,
whatever else that you want to tell about it?
yes. This is a really, really exciting project that for us to both be a part of. Oh my gosh. Ben has a fabulous thing going with Night Owl. Seriously. He and his son have been developing the Night Owl character and this universe that he inhabits for a while now, and their comic books, which are awesome too. Y'all should check out the Night Owl comics.
Oh, yes.
And
A shameless plug,
yes,
a shameless plug.
shameless plug, shameless plug. Uh, and they really have created something that is super super unique and absolutely hilarious, and it has a very really driven, enticing story. The part of the Night Owl world that we'll be working on
Mhm.
is basically about like how people can be like manipulated into following thought processes that they shouldn't be following, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And Night Owl is going to try to save the day. And that's about as much as I think I can say without giving
Okay.
the story too
Okay.
much away.
Uh,
But there are vampires. There are also
okay.
vampires.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
nobody wants to miss the vampire.
No, 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 no,
No,
no,
no.
no.
Ben and I are also working on something else too that he told me about. His late mother, who well, she just passed away very recently. I know that
Yes.
you saw
Yes.
that. Yeah. Well, he found out that she had written a novel,
Oh my gosh.
and it is an exceptionally good one.
Wow.
Uh, and we're working on getting her manuscript formatted into an actual book,
Oh, that's great.
and possibly some filmed episodes too. So
Oh,
that's really
wow.
exciting to me, and I can't wait to see.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
can't wait to see where Ben's imagination takes both of these things, because he's awesome. You know that
yeah.
he's got an
He
awesome
is.
imagination.
He,
So
yeah, he is.
yep.
Yeah, anything he does, a detective, policeman, whatever. Yeah, yeah. So then, just like you, uh, with your mother, he probably got his writing talent or whatever from his mother, since she wrote a book that what nobody knew about until now, right?
Right, right,
Wow,
exactly.
wow, wow,
And
wow.
it's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
It really
Well,
is good.
I don't want to give anything away either, so I guess mum's the word now. Now we can put the lock on our lips there and
Yeah.
move on and keep everybody in suspense
Yes.
until that happens. So
Nice little cliffhanger.
that's right, that's right. And speaking about books,
Hmm.
I just so happen to have this book that came in the mail the other day, and it had your name on it. Can you believe it? I got this in the mail, and it had your name on it. Penelope Pink and the Night Music. Just it's one of those things that you can't put down. It's a good bedtime story. I'm a big kid, so I like bedtime stories. So that that did its job at night, so that I could be
Good.
I could be nice and relaxed, and go off to dreamland. So with that book, which I'll shamelessly show it again. Um, um, you take the children through an adventure through nature and describe different things about nature and this and that, and can you explain to everybody what gave you the idea for that book, and what inspired you to write that particular story?
Yes, yes, I can. Okay, so obviously I
Which
told you about.
which is this book? Is this book?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, I told y'all earlier about Mama, introducing me to so many books when I was little.
Right.
But there was another lady who also did. Her name was Miss Joanne, and
Okay.
she was our town librarian. She would, libraries have a limit on the number of books you can check out at
Right,
once, but
right,
she
right,
knew
right.
how much I loved to read. She never held me to that. So I would ride my bike there, but Mom would go with me. We would ride our bikes, and she would let me get as many books as I could possibly stuff in the bike basket and ride home with.
Okay. Okay.
When she found new books, she would bring, before she even cataloged them, she would bring them to the house for me to read and then give back to her to catalog into the library. So I learned really the value of picture books like that from going through all of those that Miss Joanne let me have and read.
Okay.
And they opened different worlds for me. And I wanted so much to be able to do that with Penelope Pink.
Okay.
Well, I'd already done two other children's books. They were regional ones, Mississippi Monday and A Tennessee Christmas. But with Penelope Pink, I was actually thinking, the idea came to me when I was thinking about one of my favorite quotes from, well, another children's book, The Voyages of Dr. Dolittle.
Okay. Okay.
The kid, Tommy Stubbins, who is the narrator of the book, he's talking about it being night, and he says, "There's no such thing as pitch dark as long as you have a door open or a sky above you."
Right.
And the dark can be so scary for kids. It certainly was for me sometimes when I was a kid, just because, well, it's the dark. You don't know what's in there. So my
Grizzly
parents,
Bears. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So my parents would tell me to listen to night sounds. Mama would say, listen to the night sounds. And Daddy would be like back in the back of the house, shuffling through his books, writing, typing. She'd be in the kitchen. So when I would be trying to go to sleep at night, I would listen to them and, like latch on to the familiar daytime things. I knew what the
Okay.
sounds were. This is what, go to sleep, everything's fine. So with Penelope, I wanted to do the same thing. So she listens to the stuff that she recognizes all around her, the moths and the crickets and the frogs. And it's a whole nighttime symphony of ordinary sounds that make everything feel very familiar, very close and tight, and everything's okay, so you can snuggle down and go to sleep to
Right. Right.
open up the next day to all the wonderful things that you can do. And yeah, so that's what gave me the idea, and I hope it blesses a lot of kids. I mean, if I had been a kid reading that book, it would have been one of my favorites. So I
Yeah.
hope that
Yeah. Yeah.
other kids feel the
Yeah.
same way.
I like the design of it because it's got a blue and pink design, and that's kind of soothing to look at, at night. It's not bright colors. It's sort of
Mhm.
to maybe get a child to kind of
Yes.
calm down
That's
towards the
exactly what
night.
I was going for when I illustrated it. I wanted
Yeah,
it to be
yeah,
really
yeah. And
soothing to look at.
yeah, and also in here, I like the fact that, like, at the end of the book, let's see, where was it? Um, oh, one of the last pages that you write is you say, "What does your night music sound like?" And then you give, let's see, one, two, three, four. You give like 4 full pages for a child to fill that up with whatever
Yes,
they want to. I
yes.
thought that was great. It's like,
Thank you.
yeah, it's like you didn't only give them one page front and back to write down what they feel, but you gave them 4 pages. So it's like they can keep writing and writing and writing
Yes,
and to their
yes,
hearts.
yes. When I was a kid, I used to do that in my books. Like, and I don't have one here with. I should have gotten one of those, but I used to draw in the front and the back because I wanted
Okay.
to. It was part of my making the what happened next and this. And I will always try to do that with any books that I do make because I want them to have a spot that's theirs. It's
Yeah.
their book. This is their spot. So make
Yeah.
whatever you want to and see what you could
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent idea. I don't know if I've ever seen. Of course, it's been a long time since I was a child. I'll admit that. But but I don't ever
Me
remember.
too.
Yeah. Well, me more though. Um, but no, but anyway, I was going to say that I don't ever remember a children's book uh, giving a child the option of that many blank pages to fill up with what they want. So
No, I
you know,
don't. I
I
haven't
think that's
either.
a great, you know, technique to put in there, that let their imagination run wild, you know.
Yes, yes,
And
yes. That's
and
what I
one
want to
day,
happen.
if they do that, they will become an Anna Elizabeth Gant. If they do that, they will aspire to that.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Um, yeah. Um, let's see. Moving on to something completely different, 180 degrees. Focusing now like on your acting career. I noticed that another one of your Facebook posts that you did some voiceover work, and that you were being paid for your first voiceover job from the Los Angeles area. And again, uh, if you can be allowed by the powers that be with that project to kind of spill the beans a little bit, or maybe not.
Yes.
What kind of role do you play in that? Can you just give us a hint,
Yes,
or
yes,
or,
I can give you a yes.
or can you give us the whole story? Whatever you want to do, it's your choice.
No, I can only give you a hint because they're not
Okay.
gonna let me say everything just yet.
Okay.
But this was so exciting, like literally so exciting. I can say that I'm playing a funeral mourner in the
Oh,
movie's opening scenes. It's part of a nightmare sequence,
okay.
and it's really cool. I think when they pull everything together, it's going to be that really good kind of creepy
Okay.
and nice. It's just going to be nice.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to be listening.
It's going to be a nice kind of creepy, or
Yeah,
a creepy kind of. Okay.
it's going to be a historical kind of creepy.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. That's the only way I can.
It's gonna
But yeah,
it's gonna
not horror,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
pull you in. This
Okay.
is, pulling you into the story, kind of. Oh my gosh, what's happening? That kind of creepy.
Okay. Okay.
Not a horrific kind. You
Right,
know what I
right,
mean?
right.
An interesting kind, a
Right.
serious
Something
kind, and it is a historical.
right. Something that sort of teaches a lesson, or some kind of a life lesson, or along
I think
those
it just
lines, or
No, I think it's just setting the stage really for the rest of the historical drama that we're
okay.
telling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And they asked me that I'm gonna actually be listed in the credits, which is awesome.
Cool.
And
Cool.
there are some other. I wish I could tell you. There are some other really big name
Yeah.
people in
Well,
there. People that I never thought I would be in the credits with.
I really wish I could say, you can tell me this is going to be between you and me, but it's not.
It's
So
not.
I got to be honest. You got to keep it to yourself. You can tell me and everybody at the same time
Yeah.
whenever your name is in lights up there, and we'll say, "Oh my God, this is what you was talking about." Okay.
Yes.
So okay.
I can't wait.
Okay.
It's so hard to hold the secret, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, that's so this voiceover was, well, you can probably tell this much of it, but I'll ask anyway. So this voiceover, was this done all remotely?
Oh yes,
Oh, okay,
yes, it
okay.
was. It was. Um,
Because I didn't know if it was like remote, or if they wanted you to go to LA to record it, but no, it was all remote.
it was all remote. It was
Okay,
all remote.
okay,
We tested my equipment. I actually used the camera that I'm using right now to
okay.
record the sound, just the MP3 part of the sound, and it worked really
Okay,
well.
okay,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, yeah. Because I
Amazing
know,
what technology can do now
I
from a
know it,
distance.
I know it. Yeah, like with voiceovers, and like
Hmm?
online live Zoom theater, or
Okay.
like uh,
Yeah.
films that they
Hmm.
make that are recorded on Zoom,
Yes.
and pieced together to make it look like an actual, like a traditional film with the cuts in it and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
But, no, no, that really sounds interesting, and I can't wait for myself and everybody else everywhere else to hear to hear more about it.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I'll let you off the hook with that for this time. You don't have to tell you don't have to tell any more about it. So
Okay.
let me go back to my cheat sheet here. What do I want to talk to you about next here? Oh, I know what I want to talk to you about. Um, uh, well, by now you probably think, geez, what does this guy look on Facebook all the time and see the things that I do? But I noticed in another Facebook post that you had one time.
Maybe I post on Facebook a lot. That too.
Well, I'm glad you do because otherwise I wouldn't have any questions to ask, But well, no, I can go to Instagram too, That's no, but what I saw about Facebook is that you posted about that you're playing a character that's called Selfie the Dwarf, and it's in this project that's called Lost and Found, a Snow White Canadian Christmas Tale. And I was really pleased to hear that you posted about that all the proceeds from it go to charity, which is an awesome thing. And I was just wondering if you might be able to tell everybody how you discovered the casting call for that, and is that your very first time doing a cartoon and animated character?
Yes, it was definitely the first time I've ever done an animated character, and it was awesome. I found the listing of the casting call on Backstage,
Oh
and
yes, okay.
I just applied for it through the listing and got a callback audition,
Wow,
which was
wow,
so
that's
wonderful.
cool.
Doug McDougal, he wrote and directed the show. Gosh,
Okay,
he's in it. He's an incredible talent to work for, and I was so happy that he cast me in this. And I actually ended up playing two characters. I did Selfie the Dwarf, but I also had one of the Snow White seven dwarfs.
right.
But I also played Johanna Fluss, who was like a German Joan Rivers red carpet fashion reporter
Okay.
thing. And so oh, and we also did a dream sequence in there where I dressed up as Selfie, dressed up as Charles Nelson Riley. It was a
Oh my
match game dream sequence.
God.
So I had the pipe and all the stuff that he did,
I'm
and
I'm
then the
I'm
glass.
I'm trying to picture that as my mind. You as Charles Nelson, right? Well, I guess I'll just have to see it. That's all.
I have to see it. I loved it. So it was so much
Yeah.
fun. The
Did you
show,
did you have to wear like the big rim glasses like he used
I
to wear?
did. I
Okay.
did. I did.
Okay.
And I was so happy. I asked Doug. I wasn't sure if Doug would want to do that because it wasn't going to look, exactly like Selfie. But I asked him and he said, sure, go ahead. And I was like, yes. And I just ran with it. As far as I could push it, I ran. And but the show is just hilarious. It was such a joy to be a part of.
Okay.
And yeah, all
Okay.
of the proceeds they did go to Feeding America and Food Banks Canada.
Oh wow. That's
Um,
great. That's great.
yeah. Oh, I was so happy to get to be a part of them doing that. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that Doug is planning to do some more stuff with the material that we filmed for that show. So I will leave everybody on that cliffhanger again.
You're doing it again. You're leaving us in suspense. That's all I'm going to be able to think about now. Where am I going to see Anna next? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be there? Where is it going to be on the Grand Ole Opry stage? Where's it going to be? But we'll, we'll just all have to wait. That's all. But no, yeah, no, and I was going to say about that character that you posted about the picture, the selfie, the dwarf there. They made it in such a likeness of you. It's all. I mean, it's you up there, but it's like an animated form. Like usually, I think when somebody gets an animated job or something, they're doing the voice. but then there's like a different looking animated character, and they're the voice behind it. But it's like
Usually, yeah.
it's amazing how they made that Selfie the dwarf look so similar to you. And so when I was watching that play,
It was so cool.
yeah, it's like when I was watching the animated character on those posts that you made, it's almost like I was watching you, but it's like it was animated Anna, you know?
Yes, I
Yeah,
loved it. I loved it so much.
it was amazing. Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, so that's another, like they say, that's another feather in your cap, the voiceovers, besides the on stage work and the film work and the directing and the producing and all of that stuff and yeah, the magic,
Incredible.
yeah, the magic of Zoom like that. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yes,
Anna,
yes,
I've just run out of questions, but I'll have to look on Facebook again and just write down some more.
yes,
But I've run out of questions for
yes.
today, and
Okay.
and I know that you haven't run out of surprises for today, but
Oh no.
that's for another time and place. But I
Yes.
thank you so much for being on my show today. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you and reminiscing about different projects we've been in and speculating on awards of the future for different
Yes.
festivals, which I know that I can't get you to say anymore, but I try. So, but
You never know what I'm gonna have up my sleeve, up
that's
my
right.
Christmas sweater
But,
sleeve.
but yeah, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and
Thank you for having me. It's been
yeah,
wonderful to get to visit with you again.
yeah, yeah, and it's been nice talking to you one on one instead of uh, uh, one of many cast members.
In a group, we're always in a group, yeah.
Yeah, on there. So I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a awesome rest of the week and a weekend. And thank you very
Thank
much.
you, and you too.
Yes, yes. Well, everybody, my name is Edward S. Redcar. I'm the host of Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. Today, I have had the extreme pleasure of talking with Anna Elizabeth Gant. And until next time, have a good day, have a good week, a weekend, month, year, and we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.